Hi, and welcome to the Paint Girly channel. This is Lori, and today I'm going to jelly print on 3x5 cards. So I am using the Oxford brand of 3x5 cards. I find these to be a little nicer quality than some of the dollar store ones that I've picked up, but certainly you can use those. You may have another brand. I don't really know how many different brands there are out there in 3x5 cards. I did a little bit of prep work. I didn't want to start with a white card, so I just took some watered down acrylic paint. I put two different kinds of brown in here, a honey brown and a burnt umber, and made it really wet and just dipped my cards in that solution, trying not to cover them totally, give them a little bit of character, and then I dried them a little bit. So they're a little bendy, which doesn't bother me. And I'm thinking I could use these for a variety of projects. I can make tags, ATC cards. You could do little books, little journal pages, add them into your journals as little pockets. I mean, a host of different things you could do. I think someone, and I don't know who, does an iCAD event, if you will, each year. And so this might be something to consider if you haven't done this already, to your index cards. iCAD is short for an index card a day or something like that, I think. So I'm using the plain side, not the striped side. And I just pulled out some stamps. I went to the garden and got some vegetation. And so I just have a few things here. I have my Breyers and Runoff book off to the side. And I'm going to try not to get my nails too messy because I just put them on. So let's get started. Now I do have a stack of coffee stained index cards sitting here if I should go through these rather quickly rather than sit and wait for some more cards to dry. All right, so now I have to figure out where I'm going to set my little tray. I've got my little work tray here, and I just put a piece of paper on my plate. Now I do have some bits of things on my plate already, but I'm not concerned about those either. I have my large plate out because I chopped up my small plate, and I want to be able to lay down several cards. So I'm just going to do, hit or miss designs, lay my cards down, pull them up, and see what I get. Now, mostly the kinds of things that I would want to do with my cards would be, say, like more of a primitive kind of a look. That's why I went with the brown and coffee stained look for my initial layer on my cards. Now, you may have a certain project that you're working with a certain color palette, and by all means, you would go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to get started and see where this leads me. So I'm just going to start pulling out some colors. This is a burnt sienna. And I'm going to try to work in this section of my plate. So that's way too much right there. I'm telling you right now, that is way too much. So let's just give it a go. Now, of course, I'm saying it's way too much, but I can brayer this out. And I'm trying to limit myself so I don't have a huge mess to clean up as far as things I want to use to create images in my plate, right? So I'm going to start out with my leaves. So these are just some, let's see, this one is these are hydrangea leaves. So I'm just pressing those in and just using them really kind of like a stamp to see what kind of an image I can get. Now, I'm not worried too much about having a complete image on each card. I'm just going to fill this area with different prints and pull up a card and then see how it looks and then maybe create from there. Now, I've been using the back side. Let me use the front side of one of these. This one feels a little different. This one here, I think, is a zinnia leaf. So let me use the front side of that one. And then I'm going to stay with the idea of fresh flowers and leaves. I've got a little zinnia. No, this might be no, I think this one's a zinnia. And I'm going to just pop this down and use it like a stamp. Just make some more impressions. Now my paint is starting to dry a little bit. It's getting a little tacky. Now I haven't done this before, so I may end up not uploading this video. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. So I'm just kind of filling in there. Now I can feel this is starting to dry, so I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And I pulled out this Stampin' Up stamp. It's a 2000 Stampin' Up stamp. It's a good size dragonfly, and the print or the design itself is rather large. So I'm hoping that maybe I can get portions of that dragonfly on some of my cards. It could be a wing off to the side. It could be just the tail. Now I'm just thinking to myself, I wonder what color would really set off or accent this burnt sienna. It looks like I've got quite a bit of a glare. So let me pull that up a little bit. See, if I put my plate, if I raise it up a little bit or tilt it, I don't think that's going to work because I won't be able to press down the cards. And I really want to be able to do that. And I think probably what I should do is use a top page paper, you know, now that I'm thinking of it, to be able to pull up those cards and get a good print. I think I'm going to start with, I've got all my paint sitting here. I like browns and pinks. This is a pink blush. This is Americana pink blush. And this is starting to dry. I'm going to use my heat tool. Using it on the light setting. I am not holding it down on my plate. You don't want to melt your jelly plate. So I am just moving this very quickly and just drying up some of those spots. And then I'm going to drip on a little bit of this pink. And then I have oh, that's a neon color. I don't want my neon color. I want something a little orangey, I think. I know what color I have in my mind, but I'm not. Oh, here we go. Oh, goodness, that's a neon as well. See, I know that shade, but see, the neon colors are translucent. And unless you mix them with an opaque, regular acrylic paint, it's not going to work as well for you. Now, I have some paints pulled out. I wonder if I use that one up. Let's use this. Well, Georgia clay is going to be really close. didn't think it would be this hard to pull my paint. I think I put it down. Well, you know what? We're going to use a little bit of a red tone, perhaps. Of course, now I can't find my the red tone. The good thing is, while I'm trying to pick out a paint, let's use Warm Sunset. My paint on my plate is starting to dry completely. So that's good. I'm going to tip that upside down. And then I'm going to put more of my little pink blush down at the bottom. And I'm going to brayer the light on first. Now I'm just using a light touch. I'm trying not to press too hard. I don't know that it matters at this juncture, but I tend to mash, and I don't want to mash. Now, depending on how this pulls up, it's going to depend on what I do going forward. So I'm going to place my index cards place down, and I'm going to put them in different directions because I want to get little bits and pieces, and I may overlap them like that, which is fine with me because I can print again on the same card and pick up different portions. Let's go this way. So I'm just using a top coat though, and you're going to get the blur. Let me get my little flower in here. I keep forgetting about the blur. And I'm going to give those a good rub. And then see what we end up with. That's our first one. And the second one. Now you can see how I had some other stuff, some other darker and some purples already on my plate from another project. And that's a cool one. You can't at this point really tell that I have leaves in the background. You can see a little bit of that. I think it was a zinnia. I don't know that it's a marigold. I think it was a zinnia, that first flower I tried. Now this I had some dark from before underneath. I think they look cool. Now this one's got pretty much just the total image that I put down on the plate. I've got a little bit of that dragonfly. I think that was sweet. Ooh. Cool, right? All right, so I'm going to put this grouping aside. And I think I'm going to do maybe this burnt umber. I have straight up burnt umber here. And I'm going to put that right on top of what I've already had down. I'm hoping some of those bits are going to show up in my next pull. And again, I'm just moving the paint around, brayering it out, covering that surface. You don't want it, see right here's too thick because then your card will slide and you'll get an image that kind of looks real blurry and what I would say psychedelic. if you know what I mean, kind of like. So I want to brayer some of that up, and all I'm doing is pulling my brayer in one direction and then rolling that paint off. I'm using a composition book. Rolling that paint off on my composition book. Of course, the guys mowing the lawn, I forgot that they might be coming today. So, and that noise you hear in the background is them. All right, so this time I'm going to use a piece of crumpled saran wrap. Just going to lay it down, pull it up. Lay it down, pull it up. I did something like this on, I don't think it was 3x5 cards. I think it was watercolor paper that I had cut into squares. And you put down your watercolor paint, and then you, all different colors, you know, you just drip some on, and then you squish your saran wrap, and then you let it dry on the watercolor. And when you pull it up, you get some really neat effects. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. And let's see, what else do I have here? Let me add a couple of, I just have one of these little foam stamps. Pop in a couple little, I feel like I'm, yeah, see, I'm getting ready to knock off my nail. Push it down too hard. All right, that paint is really drying quickly. So this time, let's try to get a butterfly. This is also a Stampin' Up. This is a 2001. And it's more of an open butterfly pattern, which I think is works, you know, maybe a little better. And I'm just overlapping. This kind of looks like a muddy mess. A muddy mess. And I want to go off to the side maybe a little bit. Get a half of a wing. Now I have my plate sitting in the clamshell that it comes in. I cut the top off so that I can let it dry when I'm done using it, and then I can store it like this. All right, now I'm thinking somewhere I have my little bin. I have this little swirl, also Stampin' Up. Let me see if I can get some of these in here. So I'm just building layers. Now that's starting to dry nicely, which is what I want, because I like the way those other stamps, I mean the other cards turned out. And I think I do want to pick something brighter this time. So I'm going to go with a razzleberry. That's a Deco Art color. And then I'm going to put on, I am going to use my neon. I'm going to use this neon red. I'm going to put a little bit of that in. And then I'm going to use my electric pink, an Americana color. So this is dried up pretty nicely. It's a little more damp down here and along the edges. I'm just going to hit that with my heat gun a little bit. All right, now I'm going to start with this brighter pink at the top. Just a little bit. Oh my goodness, they're mowing right next to where I am. You can hear them banging the house. I apologize for that. I have no control over that. All right, this neon red is not even open yet. Let's grab the open one. So I want to add a little bit of that in there. And then I'm going to put my raspberry at the bottom. Trying to get my crispy bits off the top of my. All right. Now let's brayer those colors. One. I'm going to turn to a new page. I'm going to start with the lighter color first. Brayer that in. And you don't want to dilly-dally too long, because if it gets too dry, it's going to start picking up on you. And I want to run it all across, covering up. And I don't want the paint too thick, because I don't want to get that blurred image. So I'm going to brayer off my paint onto my composition book. And now I'm going to lay down a new set of cards. Now this time I'm not going to overlap. I think I'm going to just put some cards down. And then I'm going to, I think, leave a little space to try to pick up with some of these cards. See where I had these white spaces? And I'm going to add some of this color onto a few of those. See, I think that looks cool. I had a couple. Let's see, let's grab another one. See how when I overlapped, you have that plain part of the card? So I'm just going to go ahead and pull some of that pink up. I got the swirl on that one. See, and we're getting those really cool crispy bits. All right, I'm losing my nail. I'm just going to have to take it off because it's driving me. All right, now I'm going to get my cover sheet. Well, you know what? There's some pink in here I could probably grab. Let me grab another card here. Let's put a little pink on this one. Oh my goodness. That's cool. I think it's cool. All right, so I'm going to put my top paper down and give these cards a good rub. Well, we've got every noise in the book here. Got the dog barking, the mower going. Look, see, I can even use some of this. Can I not? I can. All right, so let's pull this bottom one up. Cool. Oh, look at this one. So you can see the slight image of the butterfly down here in the corner, and then I've got the swirl. Let's see if I can pick up a little bit of pink over here. No, that's too dry now. Let's see. It's dried up pretty quick. Oh man, I like these. You have to let me know what you think. Oh wow. I like them a lot. I want to lighten it up, maybe just a little bit. Let's use, see, because I've still got a bunch of good stuff here. Let's use a little bit of this honey brown. Let's get some of that down on the plate. let's brayer that out. I kind of want to keep it in the same color palette because I want to come back in and maybe pick up some print, but I want it to go with what I already have down. Let me put a little bit of the burnt umber in here too. Now, I can always spread the paint around and I can always brayer it off. See, right in here, it's a little too thick. So this is what I've been learning recently with my jelly plate. I have too heavy of a hand with putting the paint on, and I mash down too heavy with my brayer. It's a little learning curve, just like anything else, right? All right, so let's see here. Now, I've got this really cool leaf stamp. I don't know. This is a 19, oh goodness, does this say 88? I'm going to put some of these leaves. Oh, that's cool. You can't see that. Hold on. Look, I'll put some more down here where you can see. Now, I don't want to wiggle it too much. Now, I'm going to stamp some of this off. This is a really nice stamp. It's got a lot of detail. Now, I think I'm going to add some more butterflies and some more swirls. So let me get some swirls in here. And I'm just randomly stamping down. Now, this paint's starting to dry up. I don't want it to peel up too much. But I do want to make a nice image. Now, let me see. Where's my butterfly? Let's see if I can get some butterflies in here. Don't forget to go off the side of your paper. You know, partial images or the bottom part. Now see that? I picked up the whole bit of crispy bits on the bottom. So I'm going to clean that off of my stamp because I'm not going to get a good image of my butterfly. That might be all I can do with that until I clean that off. Let's just see if I can get that. Little bits. I hope that while I'm talking, lawnmower's not too loud. Goodness me. They're supposed to come on Monday. Today's Tuesday. Oh my. All right. Now, I want this to dry. But I think I also want, that's my little, I have a daughter. Oh, maybe I'll use this. This is just like a background stamp, and it kind of looks like gauze. Now that's really picking it up, but you know what? That's going to look really cool to me. So I think that's enough of that. Now, as I look at my cards, I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. As I look at the cards we already did, now I don't want to be on here too long, but you get the idea of what I'm doing here. So it's kind of a pinky brown. Now, see, I do have a little bit of purple in there, so that looks kind of cool. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to do a few virgin cards, if you will, that have no pull on them. And then I'm going to add to some of these. So I'm just trying to think Actually, some black might be nice. See that? I pulled up that was already on my plate. So I kind of like that. But not too much. I don't want too much black. So let's just think about this a minute. I think I'm going to go with a little bit of my, oh, can you see this? I said I was going to pull this up so you can see how I just randomly stamped the leaves and whatnot. Butterfly, and then that stamp that looks like gauze. So let me put a little bit of this pink up at the top. This is the blush pink, and that's an Americana color. I'm going to put just a little bit of black. I'm just using an apple barrel color here because I got this when I bought a bunch of stuff and it was in the box. I don't generally like apple barrel. And I'm going to come in with a little bit. I got some new purple paints. This one's Purple Pizzazz by Americana. Now, if you have a hard time getting these plastic seals off, I just take my X-Acto knife and give it a little slit and lift under there, and I can grab it and pull it off real easy. I usually just grab it with the knife. Otherwise, it frustrates me. So let's put a little dab of that purple there. And let's see, what else do I want to put in here? Oh, what are the other colors? I think I'm going to do more of the blush because I might be, dabbing all around the plate. Now remember, I let that dry. Okay, so after this pull, I'm going to do one more because I have a really cool flower here that I want to try. So I'm going to brayer this light pink first. Moving that around as quickly as I can. Then I'm going to come in here, add some of this purple, and then move that black. I'm going to brayer some of that off because I don't want that black to be totally overtake my light pink. See, I'm starting to peel up. So my window of time has expired. Now I do want to do a couple of pulls from a plain card, version card that we haven't done a pull with yet. So let me put that over here in that area, and let's do another one down over here. And now, see, some of these I think are good. See, I don't think this needs anything else. This one I think can use a little bit on the edge. So I'm just going to pull up a little bit on that edge. This one looks good. And this is what you can do, depending on, like, say you're going to be in a swap, right? And you want a quick way to have a background on some cards for some ATCs. I'm going to grab some of this lighter pink up here. Now, see, that doesn't, it kind of looks choppy. So I'm going to add a little bit of this pink in the corner. See, and then that kind of brings it together, right? This one, they're killing me with this lawnmower. You know, they're weed whacking right outside my door. And you can move around on the plate and pick up wherever. Look, I got some of that cool gauze look there. I think this one looks good. This one I think needs a little something something on the corners. And you can use any images. You might have a bird stamp. You might have picked up something at the dollar store. Now see, this one has a line there, but I could trim that if I want, but I don't know that I want any pink on this one. I kind of like the way that looks. I like the way that one looks. This one, not so much. So let's see, let's put him down here. And then I'm going to get my paper, and I'm really going to rub those down. And then I'm going to try to pick up some of the rest of this. Get my little veggies out of the way. All right, let's see if we got anything. It might have been too dry. No, I got a little bit. See, that looks cool. And then you can build on that for whatever. You can really pop this right back down and glue the back side of it on a manila folder, some cardstock. Now this time I didn't get too much on this one. Pulled up a little bit, and I think this is all mostly kind of dry. All right, so now I'm going to just do, let's see, let me grab maybe a nice little green here. Let's try some celery green. I'm just going to put this on the plate. Because I still do have some stuff underneath there. I'm letting the brayer do the work for me. This is what I've learned in the last couple of days. Kind of letting the brayer do the work for me instead of mashing it around. Now, my husband's got a lot of beautiful plants around our house. And he's got one out front that's called Pinky Winky. And this time of day, it is loaded with bees. And the Pinky Winky is a hydrangea variety. But this one in the back, I don't know if it's called Firelight or Limelight. But look at that. Is that a beautiful flower? I mean, it's a bush. But see, it's got the individual petals. So I'm just going to mash this down. I'm going to do a mash. A monster mash. You do the mash. The monster mash. You do the mash. You do the mash. Wow. Now look at this cool leaf. I picked out one that's had a big chunk missing. Chunka. Let's put that down. I want to try to get that edge. Can't really see it there. See it a little bit there. Let's see. I'm going to use, well, I don't want to do that either. Well, my finger's just going to have to get dirty. Because I put paint on the one side. Let's pick these up. All right, now I think I'm going to take my little dot. This is a 1997 Stampin' Up. And I'm just going to throw in some little dots. Now I'm going to use that pink again. I'm really liking that blush pink. So I'm going to move some of these things off of my composition book, turn to a new page. And then there was silence. All right, so let's see. Let's dry this up. Wait about 40 minutes, so that's not too bad. And then I'm done this too. I think I will do it for this video. So I hope you try this. I think it's going to be fun. use some of these 3x5 in a project. We've got a bunch of crispy bits down at the bottom here. Let me hold this up for you. So it just kind of looks like a mishmash, doesn't it? But I'm going to use my raspberry, which is like a fuchsia kind of a color. Here, maybe a little there, here, there, and everywhere. I'm not going to do the black this time. I wasn't too thrilled, quite honestly, with the black. I think I mushed it out too much. And then I'm going to put my pink blush in. And I think this will really complement that green very nicely. Let me get my wedge off to the side here. And get my brayer. And I'm going to brayer out my lighter color. Get to the edges. I guess I could put, let me take some of this. Oh, it makes a nice color when you blend the two together on my runoff. Now these I'm just going to put down cards that I haven't put any print on and see what's what. Now I'm thinking I could probably do another layer of design, but I don't want my video to be too long for you. So let's just put some of these down. I've got a little bit of an edge over here where I can stamp a couple other cards. I don't know if that flower is going to make a nice impression like I hope, but we'll see. The jelly plate can be very addicting. I'll probably sit here and do several more cards. Now this one, see, I don't have too much here, so I'm going to go off to the side and see if I can pick up something here. I did. I picked up a little bit. Same with this one. See, it's got different spots. And I'm just coming around the edge and grabbing some of that good stuff and then moving around on my card. Now see, it's so dry out there, I'm not picking up anything. There, I got a little bit. Now see, when you go to do a project with those, you can have a focal point, you can add words, you can add fabric, you can trim them out to look like a tag. You can use them to make pockets in your journal. Lots you can do. All right, let's see what we have. Got a piece of purple from before. I just think this is so cool. And of course, not just on 3x5 cards. You can do this on any surface. Look at all those bits. And look, from before, that gauze imprint. Sometimes if you don't have the fingernails, you can use gently use a little pair of tweezers to get the edge of your paper. I like the color combo. I like that celery green, the brown, and of course the pink. I'm not seeing really my leaves or my flower images, but it looks cool. So while I finish pulling these up, I want to thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you did that. You can leave me a thumbs up. Everybody likes the thumbs up, right? And if you hit the notification button anytime I go live or have a new video, YouTube's supposed to let you know. Now, see, I think this is all too dry here for me. Well, maybe I can pick up a little bit over here. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit. These almost look dimensional because I've gotten so much texture from the bits of paint. And here, I don't know if you can see, maybe a little bit. You can see a portion of the leaf. Not so much on that beautiful flower, though. I'm a little disappointed with that. So there you have it. All right. Thanks for joining me. And don't forget to take time to be creative and enjoy the journey. And I'll see you either on my next live or my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.